Hey everybody, welcome to Bitcoin and Altcoin Trading Talk, episode 27. My name is William Kale. I'm co-founder of Coinigy.com. Got a great show for you here tonight. As usual, we have Rob Borden from Coinigy as well. How's it hanging, Rob?
It's hanging pretty, I don't know, a little off center, but
Yeah. Oh,
all
you
in all,
got a cool little check behind you there on the
all
wall.
in all, yeah. It's Derek's big winnings from the business plan competition
Yeah,
at UW Milwaukee.
right on. You gonna go haul that down to the bank?
Yeah, I tried, but I couldn't fit through the door, and then they kicked me right out.
Oh yeah. Well, they know you work for a
They
Bitcoin
said
company,
we'll
so
have
they don't
none
want
of
you to be.
that.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, it says
And
it says on there not valid as real currency. I
it
found
does.
I found that to be slightly ironic, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Pretty soon
And
we'll be giving out giant paper wallets.
yeah, yeah,
Can you
cover up the
see the
QR
QR
code.
code?
Huge QR code, yeah.
And those of you who are new, that is Alex Sterk chiming in there with the QR code. Alex Sterk of Block Talk. How you doing tonight?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I've been busy bee, but I'm still trying to keep up on all the amazing currency action that's going on, so I can maybe bring you guys a little bit of the news that I picked up. And yeah, it's, happy to be here again. Coinigy's been a fun time, and I enjoy coming out here talking with you guys.
Right on. We're glad to have you. Thanks for joining us. And Brian Beamish, the Rational Investor. Drum roll, please. How are you tonight?
Fantastic. Much better now that I see all of you friendly, smiling faces. Try to say that at the same time. Anyway, good to see the gang. In fact, actually, it was interesting on Twitter. A lot of people are like, yeah, because I said, man, that 2 weeks just flew by between the last show, and people are like, oh yeah, man, but we've waited long enough, man. We need our fix. We need our fix.
Yeah, I saw that. Somebody said, man, it feels like it's been forever since the last show. I mean, I feel like that because I wasn't in on the last one, but
Yeah, I was
vacation. It was beautiful. Dominican Republic, they know what they're doing down there. Great drinks and good people. So had a great time, but I was itching to get back, and I was just sitting on my phone every waking hour checking Coinigy stuff and server stuff, so as usual. But that's kind of a lie. I tried to get away as much as possible. I'm sure Rob would cut me off anyways, but so yeah, we got a great show for you guys. Sorry, I just saw a notification coming here. I'm just checking this out. Okay, nothing important. So we can start out, I suppose, by talking about one thing that definitely a bunch of people on Twitter noticed today. So we had an issue with Bitfinex's feed on Coinigy today. Let me share my screen here without giving everybody tunnel vision. Let's see. Screen share, and we'll go right here. So we wrote up this post. Basically, what happened in a nutshell, quite a few people got some alerts today through Coinigy on Bitfinex for the Bitcoin price basically plummeting. As you can see on this chart on the right-hand side, we had a bar that registered not quite at zero, actually. It was at like 0.007. So what happened is we're connected to Bitfinex and quite a few other exchanges via kind of a live WebSockets feed. And each of those feeds has a bunch of different channels. And each channel is one market, essentially. It's a little bit different from exchange to exchange, but Bitfinex, that's the way it is. For some reason, we got a few bursts of data from Bitfinex, basically through the Bitcoin US dollar market, but at the Litecoin price. So then naturally our system tagged that as trades, and it fired off alerts. Luckily there were no stop limits fired at those ranges. So we had a mad dash. Quite a few users reported it right away. We thank you guys for that. Kind of did some forensic analysis, really basically determined that the data came directly from Bitfinex. It wasn't kind of an internal issue within our script. So if you guys are interested to read about that, kind of read the explanation, check out blog.coinigy.com. And Rob, anything to add to that? Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. No, I think probably it's too detailed really to get into. But we'd encourage you if you're interested in learning more about how some of this stuff works and what happened, to read the blog post and look carefully at some of the screenshots and stuff like that, because it's just kind of interesting to see the inner workings of what happened and how our platform works and things like that. So check that out.
Right on, blog.coinigy.com, which is a nice segue to our new website that has been launched recently. I assume the majority of you folks have seen this, but a couple pages that I wanted to kind of show everybody, mostly that our real-time API page. We actually are starting now to kind of build out some of our API documentation finally. So we do basically have a lot of stuff on GitHub, so if you can just go to github.com/Coinigy/API. We have a couple examples, but we're going to be trying to get this all into Apiary. So we've actually been kind of writing a back-end script that will process everything into Apiary. So, and Rob's laughing at that, but it's going to happen. Or you're laughing at something.
I was laughing at Brian's vape cloud that came up on the screen. It was epic.
Happy 420.
Happy 420 to those of you who partake.
Hey, this is tobacco, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Sure, yeah. Good cover.
So then, really the other page I wanted to show everybody, if you weren't aware that it existed, we do sell historical data, so those of you who are back testers, bot treaters, Python experts, etc., we have a place right here where you can basically go, click Start My Order, and we have every single data point that we have, over 4 billion historical records available here for purchase. All you have to do is click up here and let's look at BTC USD. You can just search for literally any market. You can either search by the market code, or you can type in Bitcoin, or just Litecoin is a better example. So then any market that has Litecoin in it.
Can you type in ETC?
ETC?
Yeah.
Yep.
You have the old
yeah, the old Ethereum. It looks like we have to update some of the end dates of the data here because that's an older market. Actually, because it's a dead market, I think.
Yeah, that's a different coin, actually. Okay.
Yeah, but anyways, you can click on any of these and then just add to your cart and check out, and you can actually purchase with Bitcoin, which is pretty cool. And then we have some sample data sets down here, et cetera, et cetera. So if anybody has any questions, email support@coinigy.com. Happy to help. And yeah, a couple updates in terms of the platform itself since I've been gone. Namely, the most important one, I think, or the most prominent one, is that we now have true SMS alerts on Coinigy. So those of you who have been using the platform, we had kind of a half SMS system, I guess you could call it. So what we did was we had all these providers in a database. Basically, I don't even know if it really worked that well in Canada. It worked for most of the U.S. carriers, but basically in the U.S. you can send an email to your number at AT&T.net, basically. And then that will send an SMS message to my phone. We had, I think, like 250 different providers loaded up for this, and it worked well for some people, didn't work at all for other people. Quite a few of the international carriers actually discontinued the system, like, I don't know, 5 years ago, and we weren't aware of it. We just figured we'd leave it up, just in case a few of them slip through the cracks. Cracks, not craps. But now we have true SMS alerts, so you can just enter your phone number here. This works for over 200 countries. You can just select your country from the list, basically. If you want to send a text message to Bhutan, please don't, because it might cost us a lot of money, but you could if you really wanted to. And we do have kind of controls in place. So depending on the cost, we have kind of an allotted amount of SMS messages per month. We're not making that public yet. We're still kind of honing in on what the proper rate is and everything, but you will get ample warning. I believe 10 messages before you're out, you'll start getting warnings. And you can always email support, and we can add some more for you during this kind of preliminary period. That's pretty cool. The only other thing, basically, we got rid of the overview page in lieu of this nice little apps dealio here. Overview is now MarketWatch. So we've had quite a few people ask about that. We basically just called it now MarketWatch. It's its own app. And then the news feed that used to be on Overview, we created a new app called Newswire. And you can just kind of switch between, all the, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, some of these pages are unsecure. We're trying to figure out a workaround for the insecure pages to be displayed on Coinigy. But yeah, that's about it.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Like
Awkward silence.
Yeah.
Soon Coinigy will be texting me more than my my exes. It'll be great.
Gotta settle out of those alerts, man.
Uh-oh. Tunnel vision.
There we go. I'm back.
Hey, all right.
Hey.
How do you get that nifty name thing on your video? I gotta think.
It's under one of these here Hangouts buttons. I'm not sure actually.
Be the red Hangouts toolbox.
They call it something weird. Don't they call it like your front page or something?
Hangout toolbox.
No, but I mean the actual banner they call it.
It looks so cool.
It's lower third.
Yeah.
Oh, lower third.
How are we doing on technical alerts on Coinigy? Are we gonna get maybe some volume alerts and stuff like that?
It's in the pipeline, but we
that's
haven't even really
That's
begun.
kind of what we were talking about a little bit before the show, I think, in a way. It's all going to be tied together in, like, our chart scanning tool, basically, indicator and volume-based alerts and stuff like that. And it's coming actually up closer to the top of the priority list these days than it ever has been, probably. So hopefully we're going to start working on that a little bit over the next, month or two at least. So.
Yep.
All right.
No ETA.
It's actually like a realistic thing in the future these days, Brian. We're moving along.
Yay. So, I don't know, in the news? What do you guys think? I guess I didn't really get too much response from you guys, but what did you think about Bitstamp becoming a regulated exchange?
Yeah, I don't know too much about it. I mean, you just told me. I've been out of the loop, so I'm going to have to do some research and kind of see what kind of implications that has. But, I mean, in general, I tend to think it's a good thing, especially for the exchanges handling fiat, kind of legitimizes them. So they might get more, bigger trading volume now that they're regulated.
And I think Europe actually is a real hotbed for Bitcoin users. Like a lot of people understand that the euro is still new and it's kind of this thing that's maybe we should be hedging against. So I think Europe is exploding in terms of user base, and there's already a German bank that offers Bitcoin accounts. So it's good to see, I guess, more plans to roll out regulated options for consumers. I like it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Did you guys see the news about Russia now wants to have its currency backed by a cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I saw that float by on the news feed, but I didn't get a chance to read that one yet.
And it's interesting. I actually think that the North Americans might actually be shooting themselves in the foot being as strict as they are. Because if you find that Europe just comes along and wraps its arms around Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, the Americans might be going, oh crap, we're being left behind here.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the reason why you see a lot of exchanges, with a footprint in Singapore or Hong Kong, and the principles of the business are actually located in the U.S., which I'm finding more and more exchanges like that out there.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah, it's We'll see. It'll be interesting to see.
It'd be really interesting to see what that does to the traditional fiat currency marketplace if really like a truly significant amount of, say, euros starts flowing into a digital currency like Bitcoin or something else, you know? I mean, right now it's just been scraps of money compared to what it could be if there was like some sort of a mass movement towards that.
Well, we heard, and we were talking about this before we started recording, but I thought it was really interesting to this past week. I was reading news articles about how analysts are now starting to see Bitcoin being less volatile than gold. And I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, I saw that chart or whatever that showed that.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
And I will get into it when we look at the charts, but I think I actually see like Wall Street money coming into things like the exchange traded funds in size. So the interesting thing is we've hummed and hawed and bantered about whether this Bitcoin thing was actually going to fly over the past year or two. I don't really think that that's a conversation anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty well established now.
What's that, Will?
I said it's pretty well established now that it's going to be around for a while.
Yeah. I did see someone. I do still see debates and tweets and stuff from people saying that some of these other cryptocurrencies are far superior than Bitcoin. But I find it really interesting how when Bitcoin gets a head of steam behind it, everybody just seems to forget all the other little coins. They all just sort of head off to the sidelines, and everybody's just Bitcoin. You guys find that?
Yeah. Go ahead,
It definitely seems like just the tried and true nature of Bitcoin still holds a lot of value. Basically, just the proven fact that it's been successful for so long and the network is so strong. And there's good liquidity like all over the globe, basically, on various exchanges. So, it seems like it's still definitely got a good head of steam. It's not in danger of being overtaken by anything at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's also now some technical developments going on. The segregated witness,
right?
What's needed for the Lightning Network, that's being pushed out in a soft fork now in the next kind of month here. So for anyone non-technical,
is that what you were referring to earlier today, Alex, when you were saying buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing?
Yeah. Like this is the test network for this new Bitcoin kind of protocol edition. Will allow for like instant transactions on Bitcoin, and will basically kind of bring us to like Visa level transaction base. For anyone that I guess is not familiar with the segregated witness or at least the Lightning Network, it like if a Bitcoin transaction is like a signed check, the Lightning Network basically allows like the two people to interchange checks and have them be like changing balances. So say Bob goes to the grocery store with his Lightning account, and then Alice also goes to that grocery store. If Alice goes to the coffee shop, now Bob can pay the coffee shop through Alice in the grocery store, and then all of that happens off-chain, but is done on the protocol level. So it can be done like really fast, and this is again going to allow for like instant arbitrage, and then you'll have like all your transactions kind of settling maybe every week, every 2 weeks, every month, however you want to define it. So yeah, this is really exciting stuff, and it's definitely the next big step for Bitcoin.
So just an FYI to you guys, my boys are saying that your SMS works in Chile really well, and somebody's saying that it works really well in China too.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Thanks for reporting, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've got a few folks in Russia that have been receiving them as well, so that's good to know.
Good.
Cool. So I guess there's actually, I think there were two other things that I wanted to mention in the news. One thing was, I don't know if you guys caught the Shapeshift hack, but that was a real doozy of a read. Did you hear that? I'm assuming you probably heard all about that, right, Alex?
Oh yeah, and I think it's interesting that pretty much all of the hacks that we see or major thefts that we see in the Bitcoin space are all internal.
Mm-hmm.
So like this really goes to show like you got to trust the businesses that you're trusting with your keys more than just their security, because a lot of it is the people inside.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. So, I mean, that's our number one concern at Coinigy. That's why there's only basically 2 people with access to our source code. And we're kind of trying to figure out, checks and balances in the future and just how to segregate everything if we were to bring on, additional developers and that kind of stuff. But really, the mantra is trust no one.
That's how Bitstamp lost their funds too, I think, isn't it? Was it Bitstamp that got attacked by somebody internally or something?
I think so as well. Well, and the Shapeshift one is really funny because it was like they had a server hack, and then someone on the team's like, "Oh yeah, I know, like I think we got it fixed." So they sent more money to the hot wallet, and then it got stolen again. So that's how it ended up getting like hacked like 3 times. It's like they said they fixed the problem, but then they reload the wallet and then it gets emptied again.
Yeah, if our listeners or watchers want to have a good read, I think it's called like Outfoxing the Fox or something like that about Shapeshift. But it's Eric Voorhees' kind of first-hand account of how the whole situation went down. Really interesting read. This guy that they hired on kind of as their DevOps person or infrastructure operations person was just evil incarnate, basically. He kind of ran amok. He installed basically remote desktop software on other people's computers and then jacked a bunch of SSH keys and shared them with a hacker. And then they went ahead and rebuilt their entire infrastructure, and even before it was live, when it was still on a test net, this guy was still basically remoted in, got the new keys, and then extracted even more funds. So yeah, it's just a testament to trust no one, I guess. Just an interesting read. And then what was the other thing? Completely. Oh, the other thing was what we were talking about before the show, Alex, in terms of Bittrex and that ICO. I don't know if you wanted to mention that.
Oh yeah. So Bittrex recently hosted an ICO for EDON coin. Ticker was EDON'T, so don't buy this coin. But so it was kind of funny, I guess. They hosted it for about 2 days. There was some like 30% bonus if you deposited or bought in the first day, but they ended up disappearing like without a trace. Like their website, Twitter, Facebook accounts, everything just like went off the air all at once, and they're nowhere to be found, and they haven't been responding to Bill and Richie. So it's basically come about that they were a fraudulent token, and they're going to be Bittrex. They're going to be refunding everyone. But it turns out on the back end, some people were sending the money to their own Bitcoin address directly to the developers. The developers said they were going to be sending it to Bittrex to buy for them. So I don't know what these people were thinking, but some guy in Russia is out 200 Bitcoins, and some other dude I saw on their Slack, I think, sent them like 50 Bitcoins. So they're not getting the 80 Bitcoins that they have on Bittrex, and they're not getting the 5 Bitcoins they paid Bittrex for the listing. But they're getting away with probably almost 300 Bitcoins that was sent to them privately. So this goes to show that like you maybe need to go through the more legal means or the more trusted means and the official means, and also do your own research. But yeah, I think if this happened on any other exchange, people would be a lot more concerned about the tokens they bought. But nobody's too concerned about getting their money back from Bittrex.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to make good on everything. It sounds like nobody lost money in this aside from the people that paid the developers directly, so that's at least a good thing. But yeah, how crazy is that? I mean, man, hopefully they have some documents on those folks. And
yeah, that's the other thing too. Is I think now to get listed on Bittrex, you have to provide a lot of verification. So Bill and Richie, I think, have a lot of information on these guys, and after they perform their audit of what officially happened, they're going to be going to the authorities. So yeah, better watch out. Maybe they're going to be in the Dominican next time you see them, Bill.
Yeah, there are quite a few shady characters down there, so.
Well, is that why you're down there? You're scoping out exit strategies?
Yeah, I needed to stock up before 420, so.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. No, I was down there for a wedding. It was
nice.
a blast. It was a blast.
Good.
But enough about me. We should probably get into this altcoin wheel of death.
We should.
Yeah. Well, we did have somebody who asked really nicely this morning for an altcoin, and I said just because he asked really nicely, we do his. So I did first thing this morning say, okay, fine, I'll let's look at yours. But then we did, for the rest of the people, we did create the wheel. So did you tweet that wheel out?
I did on the second to last tweet. Not on the most recent tweet, but on the second to last tweet.
All right. Well, no big deal. So this gentleman, Secrets, he asked us to look at AMP, so I thought we'd do that. Why? So the question is, do we want to maybe do Bitcoin first, then do this gentleman's AMP, and then go to the wheel, or do we want to do the other way around? What do you want to do?
I'm really curious to hear what you have to say about Bitcoin.
All right. Bitcoin tastes great. Okay, so we finished off our conversation a couple weeks ago with sort of a reiteration of what I had been thinking here over the past, probably I guess about 3 or 4 months. I mean, this has been torturously slow for us, hasn't it? We had, we had the November auction, and this is probably a good example of what happens into these big sort of fundamental catalysts. You get these monster blow-offs.
Hey, Brian.
Yep. Oh, actually, we're not looking at the chart, are we?
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you for reminding me. There we go. Big run up into the November auction. And it's interesting because a few people on my site, months ago, we used to joke about this. Bitcoin really can't finish a move without one of these big, horrendous sort of spikes. I don't know whether you noticed, when it dumped last year into its spike, it lost like 50% of its value in 2 days. And of course, these spikes here. So we just sort of made a joke, and really, ironically enough, I'd actually almost, suggest that viewers just, keep this in the back of your mind. It just seems like Bitcoin, when it nears the end of runs, it has to have one of these big, monstrous kind of candles, either up or down. So in a way, that was kind of a bit of a tell that, hey, maybe we needed to clean things up a bit. For people that had come to me after sort of all this rigmarole and said, Brian, I'm thinking about investing in some Bitcoins. Where would you kind of recommend me to start hunting? Me and my good old reload zone, I basically painted a window down here around $200-300. And I know you guys in the whole community wants to be rah-rah bullish, to the moon, here we go. But really for investors and people that are considering investing, I still have to keep to this mantra. It's basically the same logic that we've used the whole way along. If we happen to move to new highs and break out higher, then I will simply be dragging my fibs up, and that will drag the reload zone higher. And again, if for those people that are investing, somebody just put something really funny in my chat room. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't think I can post it here, can I? Well, here, let's see. Oh, that was Tim! Gravity, this is funny. It's just funny. You gotta see this. Gravity just posted, where's this gonna load, I wonder? Oh, well. Anyway, it's a picture.
Shout outs to Tim. Great.
There it is.
Oh, man, that's great. That's golden.
Anyway, all right, so long and short of it here is, investors, I'm going to still keep the same message. And this kind of reminds me of a story that we actually sort of tracked recently in Ethereum. Same sort of thing where the market was just screaming higher. And people were like, oh, I'm missing the rally, I'm missing the rally. And I just said, look, I'm just going to follow my reload zones. And, you know, if and when price can come back into those zones, that's when I'll think about buying. What does that mean in the short term? That means that I can't chase price here. I'm sorry, guys, I just can't. And I have to be patient. You know, we talked last time we met about the weekly bottom in Bitcoin. And really, investors, you know, really they got the green light to get back into Bitcoin on the resolution of this weekly double bottom here. And it's interesting how after that November rally, they just slammed it right back into that level and bottomed it again. So, you know, if anything, I got to stick to my message. This is what I do. If I was seriously about investing in Bitcoin, this is the area as it stands right now that I would be seriously working bids. And, you know, for people that have asked me, Brian, where should I work bids? The same message I said before. Just sprinkle your orders down in here and let them work and just be patient. Now, in the short term, and keep in mind, this is a fairly wide range, right? I could easily make the argument that the low of the trading range right now is $350, and this is off of Stamp, by the way. You know, if you're trading OKCoin futures, if you're trading Phoenix, you know, these levels are going to be slightly different. I personally like Stamp the most. I think it's the cleanest, and of all the, as Muhammad would have said of Jesus, cleanest of all the prophets, right? I think Stamp is the cleanest.
We're getting in a whole new territory now, Brian.
Well, I just simply put, Stamp is cleanest of all the Bitcoin exchanges, in my opinion. And really, what I see is bearish market structure up in this area, and bullish market structure down in this area. My trading plan said that I had to identify M's and W's and just basically trade them. So on this latest M, I strapped on a short, and I still have it, and you can see how close I am to getting stopped out. I do have a little stop working, or a little short. This was my hedge of my long Bitcoin position, and you know, it is my trading plan. This is my plan. I trade M's and W's. I had an M. I took the shot, and I'm more than happy. I know it sounds weird, and people are like, "What? You're happy to lose money?" What I'm happy about is that I have a plan. I stuck to my plan, and if the trade setup doesn't work, well, that's a trader's life. That's just the way it goes. Having said that, we haven't been stopped out yet. So ironically enough, even though, you know, and a good many shows, this position was in the money, and people were like, oh, Brian, oh, wow, you're doing great. Now the position's in the red, and it's a paper loss right now. It's not a book loss. And so I just, you know, I can't get overly wrapped up in the anxiety of the trade. I simply have a trading plan. I stick to my trading plan, and if this top is broken, then I'm stopped out. That's the way it goes. When I look at recent price action, I am getting the distinct impression that she wants to reach up into these original highs. Somebody earlier today had said they thought they could see $500 on Bitcoin, and I kind of said, you know, I could see 460 if we use Stamp. That would be basically this ABCD, and it would basically be a test of this validated trend line here. How much further we can go above this level, I don't know. I think we're starting to get into nosebleedy territory. We have indicators that I've built that just sort of try and keep me honest. One of
so
the
no $500 Bitcoin by next week?
I'm not there. I would love to be. And if this thing wants to pop and chug up and bust up through all these highs, then I'm right there with you. But my hunch is there is just a shitload of resistance up in here. Remember we were talking a couple weeks ago, we kind of said, you know, let the traders trade this. Let the traders win this battle. For investors and for Joe Sixpack, we just want to see the market clear through this blue line and you know, nice solid closes up here on some good volume, and then we can start believing that, hey, we're going to start heading up into higher time frame, you know, target zones. And we should probably just refer back to that while we're here. The 2013 high was well over 1,000, so that basically paints a reload short zone up here, somewhere between about 800 and 950 bucks. So, do I really have to fight the big fight here? What is this? This is like $40. And to be vindicated, to be proven correctly here, considering that at the same time, there's easily a good $100, $200 worth of risk here. My advice to the public is just let this thing resolve itself and then go. And what I guess I just sort of wanted to mention there about our momentum indicators is I'm a little concerned that we're starting to get up into overbought conditions again. You'll notice that when we got, this particular indicator I designed specifically just to highlight when markets are overbought. You can see the last time when the moving average got above this 80 level, I beg your pardon, this is a Williams percentage R, so above -20, that was in a topping location. And when we got up here before, that was in a topping location. So I can't, I certainly can't say, all right, go, you have my blessing to go out and buy this today. I think that's kind of asking for trouble. At the same time, I can see that the bullish case is trying to build. In fact, one post that I did recently for the site, and I might have put it out on Twitter, I can't remember, is I was just like, bullish W, another bullish W, another bullish W. You can definitely see the bulls are trying to step up here, no doubt about it. We have this M up here still in place, and like I said, my stop is just above here. We haven't broken it yet, so let's see if they can go bust this. And then just on the other side of that M, oh boy, we got a bunch of big ass M's up here, right? So I still think, and I know everybody in crypto world is like, Bitcoin's broken up, Bitcoin's broken up, this is it, this is it. I've got to cool my jets.
Yeah, I wanted to ask your opinion, because Litecoin had that huge run-up prior to the halving, and I know we've talked about the possibility of Bitcoin having a big run-up prior to its halving, which is in July.
Yeah, totally possible. So, there are a number of different ways you could play this. Again, are we talking about Joe Sixpack Investor? In my opinion, Joe Sixpack Investor, this is pretty risky stuff. If you want to trade this, however, I don't have a problem with you buying against these little W breakouts and your stop being just below these successful lows. In fact, we have one site member, we were talking about him earlier, I don't know whether I mentioned him on the show, but he uses Coinigy extensively. A student of mine, and actually he found this, and hats off to him, because it just goes to show that he's really, really studying hard. But we like to call it the Davometer. In that, if you can find situations where you get a W on the OBV indicator and a W on the Willy indicator, do you see the W here and the W here? You see that? Down, up, down, breakout, down, up, down, breakout. I don't know whether you can see that or not. But anyway, if it can correspond with a price structure bottom, we call that a Davometer buy signal. And ironically enough, they're actually really, really good. So people watching the show, there's a little freebie for you. Watch for W's in the OBV and the Williams percentage R indicator at the same time. A really great little tool.
Brian, I had a quick question for you. So we had a user today, and I was trying to step him through this a little bit too, where he merged his OBV and his OBV EMA on one one pane, basically the same way you have it.
Yeah.
But when he moves the chart kind of left and right, the numbers can change essentially.
Right.
The scale changes.
He has to make sure.
Explain how to handle that.
Yeah, he has to make sure that both the indicator and the moving average are on the same pane. Right? Do you see how it says scale right? And then if I click on this,
that's what I was missing. Yeah, I had one of them scaled
right,
one of them scaled to the right.
Right. So you gotta, and what I like to do is I actually like to put the OBV indicator over top of the volume. And I actually like to have the volume bars themselves confirm what I'm seeing in OBV, which is something that is very disturbing to me about Bitcoin here. I really, really do not like how the fact that this thing's moving up as it is on almost no volume. Something's not right here. So that's a warning sign to me. Something is definitely not right here.
So we should be seeing higher volume there if that was legit.
Yeah, well, you see how the OBV went cranking up here, right? And this was that November rally. Look how the volume was just so powerful, right? And we just kept making higher highs on the volume bars, just kept breaking out. What the hell? I mean, where the hell are the buyers? There's something wrong here, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, I don't mean to be rude, I don't mean to be upsetting to the community, but there's just something wrong here. So that's a big warning sign to me.
Well, and that's why I say maybe the segregated witness announcement is probably going to be like selling the news. Like maybe it will be creeping up on kind of a new all-time high in this local area here, and then it's like, okay, we're rolling out the soft fork. Bitcoin is now awesome and great again, and that might be the time it's like, oh, maybe I should sell because you see a couple mainstream articles about it, and then we start pulling back to hang out at like $400 again.
Could be. I mean, I don't think we're done here. I really don't. I'd love to believe that this was it, we're off to the races, but Willie is awfully overbought, and volume is not like smashing higher. The only thing, and we do have these harmonics working, so I think it's very realistic that we work up here. I think it's very realistic that people at OKCoin are going after the stops. They're going after my stop on this M. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Having said that, we're just now getting into the serious traffic area. If this is a bull, now's when the bulls have to step up, not down here, right? So if anything, we need, I mean, and think about it. This is what, 400 and what the hell number is this? 440 bucks? I mean, we're talking 468, 20 bucks. If this is a bull, let's get this thing just to pop at 20 bucks and close up there. And then
well, let's get it moving, everybody. Let's do this.
Okay, so that's my 2 cents on Bitcoin. Now, keep in mind, guys, I am a Bitcoin bull. I mean, technically, I have, what, 6, almost 7 Bitcoins worth of crypto sitting in my portfolio. I want Bitcoin to go up. And my short, this one particular short, represents about 1% of my portfolio. So please don't understand that I'm like, the people watching the show. Please don't understand that just because I have this one short on OKCoin futures, that means that Brian's a Bitcoin bear. If anything, I want to see Bitcoin just crank higher. And there are tons and tons of trades. But just let's break this thing out first, and then we can start getting on the Bitcoin bull bandwagon. And it's interesting how you mentioned that, Alex, about that. As well, too, we haven't talked too much about that Lisk. When does that Lisk IPO all get settled out? That's got to be coming pretty soon, too, eh?
Yeah, because they initially, like, when they did the ICO, they said 2 weeks, and now we're at, like, a month. But, like, all these ICOs seem to get delayed. Like, Augur was supposed to launch in December at Christmas time, and now we're, like, 4 months later. And then I see Joey Krug is like the developer. He's doing OTC trades for people. So when I see that, I'm just like, what are you, like, facilitating exits for your friends? I don't know. I have a hard time with some of the ICOs. I don't put too much money towards them.
Yeah, all I'm thinking is that maybe you might get a big flood of Lisk money coming into the market or something as soon as that thing hits.
Yeah, well, and that's what we saw kind of like after the run to 1200. There was like the Ethereum ICO and a couple other big ones made safe, and it would just bled out for a couple months after that. So I think you got a pretty good point there, Brian. Other news, they're now with Coinbase, you can do instant buy with $2,000. So they upped the limit now. So any newbies watching the show that basically do all their trading through OKCoin, or not OKCoin, Coinbase, yeah, now you have higher daily limits that you can FOMO with.
All right.
So maybe let's go on to the next coin here. I know Secrets of Crypto. He asked me very politely to review.
Yeah, he asked this morning, and so
yeah, hey, can I chime in real quick? BTC Kyle sent in a couple questions, but I think we kind of need to get to the wheel, Kyle. So I think maybe we're gonna have to hold off on that stuff for next time and just tweet at us prior to the show, as we do only have a limited amount of time.
Are we running short on time? I better ship the hell out here.
No, we're good. But if we add in two extra altcoins, it's gonna.
One other thing I wanted to mention about Bitcoin, but before we move on, I don't know whether you're following this ETF, the Bitcoin Investment Trust, on the U.S. stock market. But I've noticed that momentum-wise, it had a bit of a breakout here. It has broken those highs that I was concerned about on my little short on OKCoin. Those haven't been broken, but you can see that the Bitcoin Trust here, they have broken those highs. He had a pretty good day in North America trading, and I'm actually, this is just an observation on my part, I'm actually seeing more sort of stock market institutional participation coming in from Wall Street, coming in from North America on Bitcoin. You know, this is just one anecdotal piece. You can draw your little AB equals CDs, and again, we can sort of see that they're gunning for these highs up in here. You know, for those people that do follow the U.S. stock market, this isn't a bad symbol just to keep on your radar screen to just sort of see what the stock market people are thinking.
Right on. Use it as another indicator.
Okay, now, first coin we were going to look at was Secrets. It was this AMP. I thought it was just an interesting coin. Alex, you had an interesting comment today when you first saw that, eh? What was your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is something I've heard, like, it's a name that I've heard around Decentral quite a few times, and I guess the guy is like a kind of the team behind it. It's a very talented, like, computer scientist. Who have been working on their concepts for more than 10 years, and I guess Ethereum is borrowing a lot of their ideas of proof of stake in order to implement. So the guy that I interviewed on Block Talk, Vlad, he actually is apprenticing with these guys. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fairly interesting platform. They're trying to build a decentralized social network along with some newer algorithms, and they recently saw the spike here when they got added to Poloniex, I think it was.
Hey Alex, do you want to turn off video? You're kind of cutting out slightly. I don't know if it's bandwidth issues or not.
Yeah, I can do that. Sick. But did you guys? Oh, I'm back on auto. That's why. Okay, so I kept me on. I'm putting me on low.
Already sounds a little better.
Okay, so yeah, this last spike was when they got added to Poloniex, and with all the Ethereum money that was floating around and the troll box going crazy, as soon as something gets added to Polo, we see this crazy spike. So
was that margin trading?
No, they just got straight up added to Poloniex, just a regular exchange. Okay. So that's where the spike came from. They've been on Bittrex for a little while, but yeah, I think it's fundamentally it sounds like a really good project. Secrets say he's very well versed in fundamentals. He has his own website, Altcoin Report, where he publishes fundamental reports on different coins. So yeah, be sure to follow him on Twitter.
Okay, you know, when I first looked at this and this is actually a really good message for people that are watching this show. This is key here, because in this funny little universe that we play in, we actually have two separate variables that can dramatically affect an asset's price. There is the fundamental story of whatever you're getting involved in. And then, of course, there is the general sentiment of what the heck Bitcoin's doing. And, of course, all of these coins that we analyze are priced in Bitcoin. So what we often get is we actually get one of these funny opportunities when the whole world's attention focuses on Bitcoin. We actually get an opportunity with a lot of these alts. Do you guys remember in November, you couldn't give away altcoins?
Yep.
You literally couldn't give them away.
Alts are dead.
And I'm actually starting to see this sort of same, it happened very, very quickly. You know, basically this little bull rally, and of course, I think it was basically led by Ethereum. As soon as she rolled over, you could almost feel the air coming out of the bubble. So the question I would have here is not so much is price of AMP coming down because the fundamental story of AMP is flawed, or is price coming down because people's attention is focused on Bitcoin right now? If it's the latter, then I think we're actually being given a fairly half-decent opportunity. If it's the former, then this is where we need Alex to just keep us out of trouble here. Technically speaking, just when I look at, if this was the stock market and somebody came to me and said, Brian, what do you think of this stock? And it had 184 million shares out, I would say this is an old story.
Yeah, but I saw you copy that, Brian, and I think that's the total supply ever. I don't think that's the available supply.
Yeah,
oh, no, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, this is what I see here. Alex,
yeah, I think what we call available supply is ambiguous. I think that's actually technically the total supply, like the total amount that will ever be hit.
Okay.
I can hear him
we could always pop on over to these guys. Let's see what they have to say.
Oh no, we do. No, that is we call it available supply, and then we also have total circulation. So, okay.
That's this, okay, so these guys here, they say that 184, there's your available supply, and total supply 1.68 billion?
Yeah, so that does mean 184 million are out there right now. You're right.
So, this is a fairly rich story. This is a $10 million story?
Apparently.
Right. So, these guys better be doing some pretty damn impressive stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do some more research on this.
Yeah.
You're not getting in on the ground floor, folks. People that are watching this show, you're not getting in at a bargain basement. This thing is a well-developed story. It's interesting how, if this is a tenfold increase, almost, eh? Basically, they took this thing from a 10 million story to a $100 million story on that one day. That's a big move, eh? I don't know whether it can justify that kind of market cap. I'll leave that to Alex and his fundamentalists right now.
Yeah, that's a Polo FOMO.
Is it primarily like crowdfunding, though, you think, Alex, to get their social network up and running and all that stuff?
I think it's just a really long mining rate. Like they're going to be producing coins for a fairly long time, so that's why you see that high total supply, but the available supply is fairly low. So I haven't got enough. Reading up on this, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just went to scenario.com, and it looks like their primary thing is like a social network powered kind of by the coins. So
Yeah. They're going after Facebook.
Yeah, so that might explain the interest.
Okay. And it's like we even mentioned that Facebook wanted to get in on this game, right? So the bottom line here is you are buying into a story. If this thing didn't have any story and there weren't any developers and you didn't have any positive, you didn't have the secrets people all jazzed about it, I would be like, be careful. As it is right now, I don't know if is this the oldest data that we have here? Is this the ICO? I don't know. I don't want to get into that debate. But you can see that this is down at what, 300 ticks, right? 300 sats. So here we're sitting up here at 12,000 sats. So this thing has moved up a fair chunk off of those lows. Now, if we're just going to simply play the momentum of the market, we clearly had a big blast off here, and like Alex says, FOMO, polo, blah, blah, blah. It's left one hell of a wick there. My hunch is at some point it's probably going to want to go back up and eat a bit of that wick. That really wouldn't surprise me. And what I like here is that at least, you know, our viewers, like I said, message number one from day one is I just got to stop you people from buying into these FOMO moves that Alex is telling you about. We just cannot buy this kind of market. You're not allowed to do that anymore. I'm sorry, guys. Now, you can use the reload zone tool just to keep you honest. And as you can see, the market has come down. And at least on a relative basis, we're not as ridiculously overbought as we were up here. What you know, for those slick traders, if you really want to hunt an entry, I see that we bounced off of these lows. We rallied up and we left some gaps down here. And you'll notice that if we do a reload zone just off of this rally, that reload zone lines up nicely with these gaps. I wouldn't really have a problem going and working bids down in this area. But with that understood, we have to, like, you can't margin trade this, right? So we don't have to worry about, like, people losing their houses over margin trading. But if you are trading on momentum, if you're trading a high percentage of your portfolio, if you're doing anything but little old lady, if we start breaking like this key low, the next stop is down here. So you got to basically, if you're going to take a long shot down here and you're leverage trading this, you've got to kiss the trade goodbye if we start breaking down here. If I was going to go and buy some of this, I don't think I can with the number of coins and the market cap and what I see here. I think I'd actually like to shoot for these lows to be tested down in here. But if I was going to go and do a nibble here, I might like little old lady this. Right? Maybe just buy like 1%, 2% of my portfolio just to see if I can grab a nibble.
Yeah, I'd say probably best to wait until like Bitcoin finishes this upward movement, maybe turns bearish again, and then at that point maybe evaluate some of these alts. But this one's definitely one I'm setting some alerts on.
Right. You know, if we talk market symmetry, I think you can kind of see that we have. You see how we have this long consolidation period and the big spike, and now we've come right back down to the base again. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if we have an exact inverse of this. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. See if I can do that. Will that work? Where is it? Oh, no, I'm trying to. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if it looks something like this, and just chugs along sideways here for a bit. Okay, so that's my 2 cents there. You're not buying into FOMO peak. That's good. We are getting into sort of value levels. Now, do we have any indicator support to go long? No real divergence here yet. Willie is stupid. That's good. Another validation that we're not buying into the top. But Willie can sit here stupid for a while if he has to. And you can see that OBV is trying to turn here. I do like the fact that OBV was making higher highs and higher lows here. That's great. I tell you what, Alex, if this thing puts in a little W here and Willie starts to break out, that's a Davo-meter, and we might actually get a nice little buy signal coming through here. You just don't know. You really don't know. So it really all depends. Are you a trader? Are you an investor? That's going to totally dictate your risk strategy. And for those people that are traders and that would like to take a shot, I like these cheeky little gaps right in here. So that's my thought on AMP.
Well, speaking of W's, I think I saw a pretty greasy W of a coin that I bought just recently that was just added to Trex as well. SAR, S-A-R.
S-A-R. Keep in mind that I don't know about this yet.
Oh, why is it drawing that? You guys got an interesting opening candle here, but try going down to like the 1 hour, maybe even like the 15 minute.
Okay, so intraday stuff.
Yeah, this is fairly new stuff. Only launched a couple days ago.
Okay. Yeah, but you can see the W, the breakout right here. The problem with buying W breakouts is you are going to have to risk all the way down to here. And this could represent a fairly large percentage move. What I like to do, and I actually did this on your jump box, I was so proud of myself on this trade, was let the W come in and then draw a fib going back down to these lows. And work your stink bid right down in here. And if you're lucky, you might get, do you notice how they left a gap here? Do you see that, Alex?
Yeah. I'm just trying to see where you're drawing your opening to see if I already bought there.
I did the 0 off of this most recent high.
Yeah.
And I did 100% off of this double bottom. You could go off of this one, that's fine. It really doesn't matter. Can you see how that sets up there? You know, long and short of it here is you can see that gap. Do you see that gap right there?
Yeah.
If I was going to work a bid, that's exactly where I'd work that bid. All right?
All right. Well, I'm having these guys on Block Talk next week, so set some alerts for the market guys and get to learn the fundamental story next week.
Right. And you can see the momentum here, right? It's not anything to write home about, right? Because this is an hourly chart, this thing could easily go down and smash this bottom, right? We get confirmation off a higher time frame perspective. So at the same time, look, you can see there's a nice juicy gap right up to here. You might be able to bang off a double from here up to there, just trading the gaps. Bang, 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 bang. That happens a lot. So yeah, it wouldn't be enough data for me to properly analyze this. Just looking at it on the short term, a little concerned that momentum is pulled back. Makes sense. We'd be wanting to work our stink bids down in this area. And if you work a stink bid here, and you see how hard this close was, right? Big, solid close. If they take out these lows, that's not a good sign, right? Really, ideally, you want to see these levels right in here hold like a brick wall.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we should probably take some viewer requests from the wheel then as we wrap the show up here.
So these were the
full wheel
candidates that I put on the wheel today. No bias. Let's just spin it and see what we get.
Box. Nice. I know a little about this.
Box.
All right. Who knows the story?
Okay, so these guys are another ICO coin. They did an ICO on some random site, and then while that site was still doing ICO, Trex listed their market. So immediately it became like a dumping ground because I guess you could get coins on Trex like significantly cheaper. Because I think Trex is also doing an ICO, like it was like a continuation, but the price was like, I don't know, a fifth of the price or something crazy. So like I don't know why anyone was buying initially if they were overpaying, and now they've had this massive retrace. Wow, this is a really weird chart.
Yeah, is this? I wonder what that's attributed to. Was there a prior coin called Vox?
Maybe the market was disabled at first for a couple days.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think we can forego those first 5 candles. So
we'll have to ask Bittrex Bill about that.
Yeah, well, he's busy tonight. His birthday is tomorrow, so I don't think he'll answer me tonight. But happy birthday, Bill.
Okay, if we just want to take this data, I can actually it's interesting, if we look at the list, it looks almost exactly the same. We often see the derivative, whatever the hell the list thing is that's trading right now. Right out of the gate, usually get a nice big euphoric pop. I'm surprised, don't we? We usually get like one person that puts a buy for like 0.0001 BTC at like ridiculous number.
Yeah, where was he?
Vandalizing charts.
Okay?
And I know the guy.
There's like 1 or 2 characters in particular that love doing that, eh?
Cop orca.
Anyway.
Hey, I just took a look on Bittrex. It looks like that earlier data is somewhat there, and then it jumps ahead 2 months. They just don't have the empty bars in there.
Weird.
Okay.
So those bars, I guess, are technically valid.
Hey, the way I look at this is basically, and really what I want the viewers to kind of think from this, right, is we can kind of identify the bottom end of a trading range here, right? I think basically it really shouldn't surprise us that the asset is trying to find a base down in here. The problem, right, again, viewers, take this to heart because this is your money. What we really want to get you to stop doing is buying assets near the top end of the range. We would like for you just to slowly be patient and wait. And even if you had done, you said, well, you know, I haven't really learned too much from that Beamish guy, but one thing that I sure pay attention to is this silly reload zone. And you'll notice that basically you can see that this thing is trying desperately to sort of recapture that area, eh? And I see this a lot on alts. They'll lose this 78.6, and you can see how they tried to bring it back, right? Tried to capture it. Oh, yeah, okay, we got it. Oh, shit, we lost it again. If you see that they've recaptured this, they start closing this coin up here. You can see the W, and you've got the green light. Good part about it, Willie's nice and washed out. You're not buying into an overextended market. We'd ideally, you know, this is a commentary about Bitcoin. Ideally, you know, our bull scenarios, and you guys have seen bullish charts from me, we see the OBV like pointing up and we get these big honking green bars and we're like, holy crap, we just want to hop on that guy's coattails, right? You've heard me talk like that before?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so do we see any big guy to hop on his coattails yet? No. We need someone to come in here and say, this is the floor, no more down, right? And it just hasn't happened yet. So one to keep on your radar screen. It is an interesting trade location. Again, I'm seeing a lot of coins. And in fact, I'm doing buying for the public. You know, just be aware. And actually, we've got our new altcoin page up and running here. Look how many coins. I got 96 coins. This is ridiculous.
That's quite the deal.
We've got
Are you guys taking advantage of that API call yet, Brian?
Yeah, that's right. Look at the job Stuart has done, eh? This is so beautiful.
Nice.
Oh, so pretty. And we got a full searchable database of every single position we have and everything, all the transactions.
Where are you getting that data from, Brian? It looks pretty cool. There must be some
getting
kind
it
of
from a site called Coinigy.
Right on. Yeah, I just wanted to give us a plug because we do have a new API endpoint that's undocumented, where you can pull in all your individual balances and historical balance history, which is pretty cool.
Is that what Stuart? I know Stuart was having a bit of a tricky time, so that was the new thing that you guys were working with him with.
Yep.
Totally awesome. You guys can see, in fact, I did a little buying here today. I got filled on this Quicksilver. I don't know whether, I mean, look at this thing, how it just went shooting up and then crapped right back down. Is this a total scam? Look at Alex going, oh my god, I can't believe you bought that thing.
Yeah, no. I'm not even gonna say anything about it. That's all.
Well, I got filled in the, you know, you can read up about it. The cool part about it is, man, I almost got a double off here just today. Let's see, we're so close on getting filled here. Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make here is that, I mean, I can't show you my bid screen right now. It's on a different screen. I must have like 20 or 30 bids working, and I'm not getting filled on that much. I've only bought like 3 or 4 positions. I'm just waiting on fills, waiting. So, you know, this is exactly what we want to see. Bring prices down here so I can start getting fills. So, like, you know, I had mentioned earlier, in a weird sort of way, when we start getting Bitcoin going nuts out of the upside, this is when our altcoins start going on sale, and this is the time when we need to start really paying attention. When everybody's rah altcoins and prices are screaming higher, that's not the time to be a buyer of altcoins, right?
Yep. Got to buy in the off season.
Well, no, just, you know, when the public just isn't interested. That's all. Okay, so what do you think? Did we do justice to this this box?
I think so. I'll mention quickly that they're a company that is specializing in VR, and this is their in-game currency that I guess they're going to be using, or in-store currency. So, Will, with your fancy gear headset, you maybe want to purchase some of this for whenever they get their software going.
Right here, actually.
Cool.
Coinigy VR coming soon.
Does it work?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. What
does Coinigy look like in virtual reality?
Actually, I did load it up on the web browser. It's like a 25-foot high screen.
That's cool. Well, I think it'll be sweet for like multi-monitor setups. You no longer have to drop like a bunch of money on like 10 monitors, you can have all of your
Mhm.
monitors all around you.
Yep,
Oh,
you just have to get the resolution a little bit better.
Yeah,
And that's the only issue, the screen door effect and all the resolution. But
Is
that
there
goes
like a massive memory drain on that thing?
No, it runs really well. You just plug your phone in, so everything runs on your phone, and then it's just got lenses, but it's limited by your phone's resolution, so you get what's called the screen door effect, which is you kind of see it's like looking through a screen door, basically.
Okay.
And it gets a little annoying after a while, but it's still pretty damn cool.
All right. And the only other thing I mentioned, 31 million out on Vox. That's a good number. I like that. Very respectable. And all right. And it's interesting. I got that GMC, which is Game Coin, I think.
Game credits.
Game credits, yeah. I got some of that. So I might go and I might just go shopping here.
Yeah. I think they changed their token recently to Game. I actually so after the last show, I got asked that Thursday to host CoinFest. So I did 3 kind of back-to-back interviews for CoinFest. The first one was a panel of all gaming coins at Hunter Coin, Gamerholic, and Game Credits.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool panel to kind of get an idea of like how people are creating their own currencies for their companies. Then I had
would Vox fall into that category?
Yeah, I think so. I think if it comes down to like buying VR games, they're definitely in that same box. Game credits, I guess they're actually partnering with a slot machine company, so they're going to be having, I guess, like their token systems used in Las Vegas for transferring between machines.
Cool.
Sweet.
And then after that, I talked with Paul Snow. He told me about Factum, and after that interview, I'm like hyper bullish on it. It sounds like super cool, like a kind of like an extra layer of data on Bitcoin for governments to do like land asset tracking, medical records, like all the stuff that we've kind of like heard about use cases for Bitcoin actually being put into like a database and then secured by the Bitcoin blockchain.
I like FCT's trade location here. I went and did a little nibbling last week. We had some more buy orders down here.
With the first spike that we saw after like Bitcoin kind of broke this range, we saw a lot of the blue chip alts kind of do a pullback, and me and a couple friends, we all bought into like Ether, Made, and Factum, and then sold after like 10% because they all historically like counter trade Bitcoin pretty consistently, but then they recover really well.
Definitely.
I like this. There's a cute little W she tried to put in here. Not quite ready to go, but definitely very interesting. Okay, what do you think? We got time for one more from the audience?
Yeah, probably about one more, I'm guessing.
Right.
15 minutes.
Who's up next? NXT. Oh, I bought some of this recently. NXT.
Is there any news with NXT? Has it kind of just been chilling?
Yeah, I think they're working on something in terms of news. I don't know if they've had any recent developments.
Look at that.
They got a lot of competitors coming out, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, NXT was kind of the first really smart contract platform, but not completely. It was more, I don't know how to say it, not necessarily smart contract, but combined assets, I guess, or.
And I think in terms of like user base and like even developer teams, like or just like resources available to them, they're fairly impressive. They're definitely something to look out at, and probably one of the most profitable ICOs you ever could have invested in, because like their available supply came out all at once and like was bought out, and they're like 100% fee driven. Like all the mining rates are generated by fees.
Sure is a heck of a lot of coins out on this thing, eh?
Oh yeah. So if you but every time there's like new assets listed on NXT, the NXT tokens are burned, I believe. So like the more assets that are being used on the network, the more valuable NXT becomes, similar to how Ether and contracts work.
Have you actually started to see the supply start to go down? Have you
Yeah, I think there was a lot of like coins being listed way back when, but like there was a lot of really shitty assets that were, I think, consuming a lot of NXT that really needed to die, and that's probably why we're seeing this bottoming out. So they're actually like shaking out tokens on their network. So
okay.
that's why we're
Well,
seeing these lows here too, I think.
yeah, so I mean, you guys know me. I love to buy against lows and hunt reload zones. So it really shouldn't surprise why Brian would be interested. Excuse me, down here. Let's see what I did on this thing. I bought. You can see there's the reload zone. There was the dip. So I basically bought right against these lows. Not a bad trade. I can't complain. Little old lady did, so certainly not betting the farm. I do like this market structure down here, so it's encouraging to see a nice little inside bar reversal on this first test of this level. Oh, actually, no, it wasn't. I beg your pardon. That was a fractal. Came down. We actually took these lows out just by a smidge. Then we put in an inside bar reversal. So not a bad area to take a shot. And of course, if these guys do ever get their act together, and that's kind of why I like to buy these kind of names. We could very realistically, just on a test of this high, start to look for, what are we, 4,500. So that's one double, not quite two doubles. 1.5, not bad, just for a test of last summer's high. So that's actually a 52-week range, isn't it? So that's actually very doable. Do I absolutely insist that this is the bottom and we're going straight up? Nah, I'm not really, Willie isn't exactly, double bottoming. We certainly don't have a Davil meter here signal. Consider it just a nibble against the lows. That's probably what I called it in the blog. And that's basically, a big part of what I do is when when coins go zooming up, I'm taking profits, and then literally I just am hunting for places to put those profits. And so, this is a great example where I'm more than happy just to take a little nibble against these lows and see what happens to us. Total little old lady. Did buy it, full disclosure, I went long. I do like what I'm seeing here. We have a potential divergence trying to form in here. Like to see that. But as you can see, Willie kind of needs a bit more work. And probably if you actually just drew a nice little trend line, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, probably something like that, right? If we get a nice solid close above this trend line, then she's off to the races. Right now, jury's just like it's almost there. If anything, this isn't a bad shot that if you just said, okay, Brian, I'll listen to Brian, I'll go and buy some here, and if it breaks these lows, just get the hell out. So you're just going to risk about this much, of your capital. And like we said, realistically, we could easily see a move up into this neighborhood. Of course, should she double, let half of it go, get yourself some free coins, then this risk equation totally dissolves. And not a bad trade idea, in my opinion. Not bad at all. Not a bad place to have some money working. All right. How are we doing on time? 8:19.
Yeah, at an hour and 20 minutes, maybe we should probably wrap her up here. We got so many closing messages for the folks at home.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm done. Whew. Hope everybody enjoyed.
I thought Alex said he had some closing messages.
Yeah. So
Take the floor.
Next Thursday, at least that's the plan. I'm going to be interviewing Starcoin, which the developer I've actually interviewed before. He's the same guy from Jumbucks, JBS, Luke Williams, who is a very notable developer, very talented folk, and very trusted member of the industry. And he's working with this really cool project. They're essentially bringing Bitcoin debit cards to Europe. So it'll be really interesting to hear how they're going about that and how that product is going to be kind of deployed in their team. So check us out on Twitter. We're block_talk. You can find us on YouTube searching #blocktalk. And I think I'm going to try and get Tendermint that same day. Tendermint's like a private blockchain that's being developed for some governments. So
Yeah, I've checked out their site actually. I think well
so
done.
I'll see if I can scoop them up. They got some developments to release here at the end of April, so hopefully I can get those first. So yeah, and
Get the exclusive.
exactly. And if you're super bored, you can always follow my personal Twitter, Alex_Sterk. I post a lot more farming photos right now, but always fun stuff. Like today, I was planting a lot of grass rather than smoking it. So yeah, that's all for me. I don't know anything to look forward to for the Coinigy boys in the next 2 weeks.
No, just the usual. Trying to make sure everything's cool with our Bitfinex WebSockets feed. Just kind of working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes here, and really platform optimizations kind of right now, converting a lot of things to microservices. So should be interesting, and containers and such, which Rob is nodding right now because it's interesting.
Did Alex actually asked me earlier today, and I thought I'd ask you guys. Did you guys get any sort of reach out or anything from those Yobit people?
Not that I could say. I don't think we've heard from them.
Nope.
Yeah, I could probably maybe get a comment, but I doubt I'll get anything back from them. These guys are kind of walking the fine line when it comes to legality and morality. So.
I mean, I get the impression they're Eastern European exchange.
Well, and the contact that I have is South African, so I'm not sure if they're any.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong then.
Did you guys see what they did to this list? Look at that, eh? Up and down like a horse drawers.
Actually, one thing I tweeted out recently. It was a list market page that showed basically every coin was up like 1,000%. So I found that really suspect because normally you would see like that's what happened with the Willy bot and like Mt. Gox. It's like you start seeing really fishy behavior when markets pull apart. I think our Cripsy was like that as well. You start seeing some crazy like kind of arbitrage rates that maybe sucks in more coins. So. I was almost expecting the list to be going under by this show, but maybe by the next one, we'll see. Maybe they'll finally disappear.
This is just the Yobit list derivative, right?
Oh yeah. I mean Yobit going under. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought that was just that was a total. Was that a total scam? It's kind of a shame what they did there, right?
Well, I call it a rise-only market because they control the supply. They haven't really divulged how much they have. They can't really say or prove that they have any because the list team could easily invalidate their purchase, and then they have nothing. Or what they could be doing is they have none, and then they've been selling it at a premium for, say, a month, and then when people go to withdraw, they just buy it on market when the market is actually enabled or the blockchain's enabled. So like this could be like their scam is like, oh, we're selling it now, and then we'll buy it when the rest of the market launches.
Yeah.
That being if the price discovery ends up being a lot lower than what they have here, because that opening candle there, the bottom of that opening candle, that's 13 times the ICO price. By the time we get to the top of it, it's like 96 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't think this is even close to like a price discovery for this asset. I think it's going to open probably maybe 10x if you're feeling pretty confident in the team. I think a lot of people are having buyer's regret with Lisk, but we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
The other thing you could look at too is Gatecoin. There's a rep market for Augur. And I kind of call that a rise-only market too, because if you own all of the rep, like it's you and maybe two other investors, you have a vested interest in rising the price like substantially, because you're essentially like selling your coin before anyone else has the opportunity to sell. So you control the price.
These guys here?
No, it's the other one. Go under gate. Yeah, so there was one crazy wick that kind of throws everything off. But
You. Anyway.
this is probably a bit more accurate in terms of price discovery, because this is a registered exchange, and like they have like signed documentation on all the rep that's being deposited. But yeah, this will probably be a lot better, I guess, derivative or futures market for reps to kind of show us what the price will be when they finally launch. They're already 4 or 5 months behind, so clock's ticking. They keep delaying their interview with me too. I'm kind of disappointed. I really want to have them so at the end of every Block Talk episode, we do a price prediction on the Bitcoin price, and I really want to have that into like an auger market, so that like people at home can actually bet on the guess predictions.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I did a tweet out here. Actually, it's probably a good thing to finish on. Let's see what the public thinks. We didn't really get too many responses. 20 votes. So, 35% says straight up from here. 30% says they haven't got a clue. 25% says we've hit a top. And only 10% of our viewers think that a fall is imminent.
Well, and there's a lot of mainstream Twitter traders, like ones that trade like fiat and stocks and everything, that are kind of tweeting about Bitcoin now. They're all saying it's like, okay, we have a breakout confirmed, 460. From there, we might see 500 and then 615. So that's kind of like the sentiment I'm seeing on Twitter. It's a little concerning seeing so many people bullish, but at this point, like the market's so big, maybe it's more the public that's going to lose here than us closely knitted trader folk.
Yeah, us insiders.
Yeah, we're the ones who've been following it every 2 weeks, to keep track on it, keep tabs.
Every 2 weeks? Maybe like every 2 minutes.
Yeah, every day.
I'm getting a little better. I don't check the Bitcoin price as often as I used to, but I used to, almost every hour it seems like. But now I'm a fairly busy guy, and I keep my alerts set with Coinigy. So now I got the SMS. So.
Right on. Yeah, I should mention too, we're trying to get our Android app out into beta, like stat. So there's just a couple nagging bugs that we're trying to get fixed here. Hopefully, next week, maybe the week after. It really depends, but we are ready for launch mode. So, speaking of alerts, so yeah. Anyways, I think we can probably wrap her up here. We're at about an hour and a half, and I think Rob has to go to the bathroom, so. So I will say thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll check you next time, 2 weeks from today.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. See you then.
Bye.
Toodles.